Say what? Look. I'm on tour right now.
It's the new OGs. The new OGs is a State Master Entertainment production that is brought to you by Solar Masters. Look, Illinois is changing how people get their electricity, and Solar Masters is helping homeowners in Illinois take advantage of a program that lets them get solar power at no cost. If you're a single-family homeowner in the state of Illinois, you can lower your electric bill, you can raise the value of your property, and you can do something good for the environment without paying a single dollar out of your pocket to do so. In fact, not only can Solar Masters only work with you if they can save you money, Solar Masters will actually award you a $500 cash card for going solar in 2023. Solar Masters is a Black-owned company working with North American-based panel makers who have over 30 years of solar experience. They even have a referral program that pays a minimum of $250 per referral. So head over to www.gosolarmasters.com and get in contact for a free consultation.
Hey, Bobby!
Yes, sir, XL. How you doing, man?
Hey, man. So check it out. My water bottle's green, and I'm using the green screen. Look at that. How about that? How about that?
It's almost like you can be invisible. Wait, are you there, or is are you the green screen? That is the question.
I just want to quickly reiterate. People can.
Are you in the phantom zone?
Ooh, I forgot how green screens work for a minute, and I was confused.
You forgot how the phantom zone works too. Anyway, what's your question?
I just want to double check real quick. They can do something good for the environment by going solar. Is that right?
They're playing their part.
Save a little bit of money on their bill.
Why wouldn't you want to save money on your electric bill?
And they get money for doing it. $500.
Yeah, you get $500 for going solar. So they're saving money and they're getting money for saving money.
Man, that's cooler than just making me disappear.
Well, listen, if you want to make a good portion of your electric bill disappear, get over to www.gosolarmasters.com to get yourself a free consultation order for someone that you know. New OGs is also brought to you by the Save Toby Jones Tour. Catch my man Rob Hines, our wonderful co-host, back here with us again, famously known as Toby Jones from Jones Barbecue and Foot Massage, as he embarks on his brand new tour. He is going coast to coast all over the country. He is here with us now. What is up, Rob? How you doing?
What's happening? I just wanted to say this before X, you go ahead and start because this is going to be heavy.
Yeah.
I just want to say this, Bobby. Every week, it's like working with Jordan. Like every week, I watch you come down the court, and it's the exact. I know the play. Like it's amazing when you know the play and you can't stop. You know, like this is such a good thing. Every week, I'm very, very impressed. Like sometimes I think I'm gonna go back and I'm gonna get all the greatest. And I'm gonna make a top fucking 5, man. I'm just saying, I love him that much.
I think there's a clip somewhere on the site that's got like a rundown of a few of them.
Nice.
The dimes, Bobby dimes.
I'm gonna give it back to you, Bobby. You go ahead and hand it back to X because I got a whole setup.
Yeah, there's a whole. Rob's got a whole thing going on. We got to get to. But XL, man, XL, have you liberated the nation yet? Are you?
My people. If this was Pele, this would be so much better.
Are you safe in the bunker right now?
Shit, you know.
Oh, man, the revolution may not be televised, but the bitch gonna be online.
Hey, I got a big ass staff. I wish I had it. It's over in the corner. But anyway, I want to send a shout out to Midnight Tokers. I believe it.
Yeah, Midnight Tokers.
Midnight Toker love shout outs.
Yeah, MD Tokers on the IG, Instagram. Check them out. They are awesome. Chicago-based service. Just look them up and they'll take care of you. Have a good one.
Yeah. You got any shows coming up, man? What's happening?
I do, man. Sunday, which might come on after this show. I don't know. Or right before the show. But I'm in Milwaukee at doing the keg stand at Lakefront Brewing. I love that place. It's an awesome, cool place. And
it's a great
I got
location.
Yeah, I love working with the Milwaukee comedy. They're like the best of both worlds. They have actual clubs and independent rooms, all under, all working together, and it's pretty dope.
Yeah.
It'd be nice if Chicago had a little bit of that.
The edible's hitting, right?
Oh, yeah, 100%. And that's when the edibles kicked in. Hey, I had existential. Hey, real quick, Rob, before you get to this thing, I had an existential crisis on the highway today. I'm riding and I saw a sign that said "Lost Faith in God." Call 83 the truth, right? And that shit felt like a real beginning of Matrix moment and shit. Like, it's like, oh shit, that call that number, they tell me God's not real and all this shit is bullshit. You're like, I've been being nice to people for
this guy getting back at you.
For people.
Okay,
I'm sorry, man. Hey, man.
Hey, dig it. I was finna explain about you guys, not him, me. It was gonna be me. So okay, let me tell you real quick. I just want to get this off since you put us there and that just happened. I gotta explain being the oldest nigga in the group. Okay. Look at Bobby Stubbs up thing that just shot up. Here's the thing.
Hey, wait, we gotta explain to the people watching, you listening to this, you watching, there's a little white or Simpson colored thumbs up that appears on Bobby's screen. Bobby's not doing anything to make that happen. It just appears. He didn't even notice it. Rob noticed it first. And it keeps coming up at just random moments. And it seems to be answering questions and shit when it does. That's what we're laughing so hard about, because when it comes up, it always seems to come up right at a poignant moment where that thumbs up kind of saying something. So look out for it. This is not a trick that we're doing. It just keeps randomly happening.
When I edit this, if there's any scenes where my thumb is visible in the shots, that thumb, I will make sure that the audience knows about it. So if you've seen it, great. If you're watching this, you don't need to rewind. I'm pulling it up the next time. It's coming soon. If you haven't seen it, probably, or if you want to pull back a little bit, I'll point out the thumb. Man,
so
what's going on,
Rob? This is how the thing
Rob?
works. This real quick. It's positive and negative.
Yeah.
So, and that's the energy is what it's all about. So whether you believe in God or not, you got to at least acknowledge the energy. And if there's a negative and a positive, the thing about it is that if you stay in the negative energy, you're gonna get the negative result. Whereas if you are in the positive energy, look, there go the thumb. If you're in the positive energy, you're gonna get the positive result, right? I'm not freaking out no more because I already figured it out. We talked about it before offline. So all I'm saying is whether you believe in God or not, it don't really matter. Whether Jesus is the reason that negative positive energy could happen, if that's what makes you happy, make that be the case. But I'm just saying it don't have to be a God for that to be the truth. And that energy may be the God itself.
Hey,
Pretty
Tyler
sure it's
Perry.
just when I'm
Hey, Tyler Perry, I was doing a bit, but I'm gonna talk shit about beating people up, but thanks for saving the world, nigga.
I was like, damn, this nigga lived in LA a long ass time.
Man, isn't that crazy that the truth make you that uncomfortable? These thumbs up just keep happening. I ain't making it happen.
Make me that uncomfortable.
Yeah,
I was
telling you.
trying to do a bit, and I was going to talk about being a monster just for the fuck. Never mind. It doesn't matter now. You came in and just gave him, I feel like you walked on stage and gave me a hug in the middle of my set. I feel like that's what just happened. Like, oh, come here. Like, no, you don't say I'm doing a thing.
Have you noticed it just keeps getting darker around XL? He just keeps drifting into the darkness.
Hey, give me one
trying
thing.
to tell you.
All right, Rob. So what you been up to, man?
Okay, I own the Toby Jones song. That is
Right.
a song that came from the top of my head. You understand?
Right.
This is something that I came up with while standing there. I copywrote it.
Right.
It is my song.
Right.
And I'm just saying that to tell everybody out here that part of my truth is that I wrote that. It was mine. I copywrote it. So now I'm going to have to defend my copyright.
Got it. Well, I don't want you to talk about things that you can't talk about. So is this all stuff you can talk about? But that you have to defend your copyright over the song, the Toby Jones song, which has been something that you have been seeing credited for over and over again for the years, right? I can say that, right?
Yes.
That's the thing I can say.
Yes.
I can say I have watched you on television be credited and perform the song and be credited as the man who came up with, like, I've seen that on television.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So
I have seen rooms full of hundreds of people.
Right.
See who you are, and get excited as fuck. So they all knew exactly who you were. They recognized you. And they recognize you singing the song.
So that's what I mean. And so what's going to happen is, I don't care what I have to mortgage. It does not matter, because I'm not relinquishing the ownership. You understand?
Right.
That means that it may come a time where I will come to everyone out there listening with a beautiful GoFundMe opportunity to help a brother get what he deserves. Because it is way past time that we start owning what we create.
Yep.
Yes, sir.
Absolutely.
Yes, sir. Yes,
absolutely. Sir. Well, I think there's something to be said for taking that stand, period, right? Like knowing where you are and taking that stand, everything else be damned, right? And there's a time where you kind of have to stand on what you've done, especially because, there's a weird thing when you talk about being a artist or trying to be a comic and people are immediately concerned about what you've done, right? Like, what are the things that you've done so they can figure out, like, kind of where to value you in the, in the knowledge of the thing.
How do I sell you?
And or how do I decide to treat you or whatever, right? And the reality is like, there's a lot of shots, but there's only so many shots.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Like, there's a bunch of potentially this could be good things, and there's a lot of times where you can put a lot of time and energy into that, and it's not the thing that it's supposed to be.
Absolutely.
And then there's a thing that you can do where, like, it has become an incredible major thing that could be even a bigger thing, and, like, it's yours.
So what you do with the strategy that you clearly see will work.
Right.
And again, I talked about it live on YouTube, where you can find me there. Subscribe, please, on YouTube. Actually, I talked about it on YouTube, but they were messing up commercial opportunities continuously. I can say that openly. There would be opportunities to make money with the character, and they would find ways for them not to work. And for them to do this while knowing I was on dialysis, while knowing I was doing all I could do to stay alive, and they still kept doing it. Still kept doing it.
Yeah. Well, again, for you, from what I know of it and from what I understand, like, that was the thing that you came up with at the time. And that is what creating something is, right? Like, if you own the rights to the song, then you own the rights to that song, and that's it. So, are you performing anywhere? Are you out this week? Are you doing anything to
I'm fighting dudes with both barrels. We also opening up the store. The thing about it is, I never done this.
What's the website for the store?
Save Toby Jones Store. Save Toby Jones Store.
Save Toby Jones Store.
Yes. Okay. .com. Yep. There's products there. I'll get you the products. I'll start releasing them soon. I just didn't have them yet. They're ready, but I don't have them. So once I get them, we'll show them to you. We start selling them. But that's the thing I'm working on now. Yeah,
absolutely. Let's get into this episode because we got a lot of great stuff going on. The Oscars just happened. That was last weekend. It was I thought it was actually a pretty decent Oscars. Nobody got punched or slapped, which is I had an expectation. You know what I mean? I was kind of like,
once you set the bar that high.
Yeah, I'm like, man, can you somebody sweep a leg this year or something? Can I get like a nut shot?
Auntie Angela looked like she wanted to smack a bitch, but she was cool. Her composure was cool, but she looked like, if Will Smith hadn't done that shit last year, it might have.
Yeah.
But hey, I have to say this. As much as I thought that she deserved her role in Black Panther was fucking amazing. People were shitting on Everything Everywhere All at Once and Jamie Lee Curtis. Jamie Lee Curtis was great in that fucking movie, and that movie was great. And it it's a subjective thing, you know. Some people like some shit, others said. I wish that that she would have won it, but I don't think Jamie Lee Curtis was bad.
Sure.
Or undeserving. And I, you know, somebody gonna have me online saying I'm caking for white people. I'm not. I'm just saying, like, that shit could have been a narrow vote. It wasn't like it was like out of this world, like she, because like people are portraying it like she got robbed, and I'm like,
right.
Also, I do think that she probably did get penalized because it was a superhero movie, and Oscar voters are. Did you see the shit that they said about Viola Davis?
No.
I posted.
Is that the thing you posted it somewhere where it was talking? Yeah, I think I did see that.
Yeah, a lot of people misunderstood, and they thought the person who it was like a screenshot of someone's Twitter. They thought the person's Twitter was the person saying it. It was an anonymous. It was an anonymous Academy voter said that they didn't see the Woman King, but they didn't think Viola Davis deserved it. They were kind of tired of her snotty tear crying thing. And I'm sure this other person was better. And they said that with saying, I didn't see Woman King and I'm tired of it. Like, what kind of fucking shit is that? Like, okay, I get it. It's art. You can have taste or flavors or something. But here's the thing. I'm not going to say the person's name, but there's a comic that I've talked about for years that I personally fucking hated. But he's a fucking brilliant comic. And when people ask me, like, oh, should I book him? I was like, hell yeah, he's hilarious. I was like, I don't like him as a person, but he's hilarious. Like, like, you know, say what it is, but and it's the same thing. I'm going back with Jamie Lee Curtis. She was fucking crazy good in that movie. You know, it doesn't take anything away from Angela Bassett, but it could have been a close vote. But also, I do think she probably did get penalized a little bit because it was a superhero movie.
Sure. Overall on the night, Everything Everywhere All at Once won a ton of awards. I think they won 8 Oscars throughout the night. You know, Michelle Yeoh won for the first Asian woman to win a Best Actress award. They had the Best Supporting Actor, first husband and wife since like maybe one other time that happened. In a movie
it hasn't been since like the 60s or something. I think like that.
Yeah,
like James, like
wasn't it on Golden Pond? Wasn't it on Golden Pond? Some shit like that. It was some, you know, that's way back in the day, and those were white people, and these are Asian people, so that was cool. I did think it was interesting. It was the first year that Janet Yang was ahead of the Academy, and then all these Asian movies won. I was like, hey, can we get a black person in charge for a year and see what happens? I want to see something.
Yeah.
And I'll probably look back and be like, there was one, and it still didn't go our way.
The only reason he got this job is because they already told him the white people they wanted him to give the shit to. Shit, you know what happened.
I'm looking
at you, Obama.
Have either of you seen the movie RRR?
No, it's literally the next movie I'm watching, actually.
Yeah, I'm gonna check it out. It's a Bollywood movie, an Indian movie called RRR.
It's on Netflix.
Literally, the letters RRR.
Oh, okay.
And
you don't have to see the first 2 R's to be able to see this one. You can just go right.
I saw that joke, Bobby. That's funny. A bunch of Marvel gamer nerds that I know were talking about it before the Academy Awards were talking. So it was already a thing I was going to check out because it was a random that they just all of them liked it. And it's
on Netflix, but it's like 3 hours and 45 minutes long also.
What?
Yeah.
I had to watch that in sections.
Oh, yeah. That's like a 2-3 day action event.
So that's one of those things.
Like I got an hour.
That's one of those things where I put that on the big screen and I watch the games on my laptop. So I just kind of go back and forth between the two. Facebook on my phone.
Yeah. That's usually what's going on. That's usually why I break it up into segments, because I'll get through like 2 hours in a day, but it'll actually only be like an hour and 10 minutes of the movie and 50 minutes of me fucking around, knowing I got a big ass long movie to go through.
Yeah.
Yep. They did an in memoriam. The in memoriam this year left out a lot of actors. Paul Sorvino, who is Mira Sorvino's dad, who is a great actor. Anne Heche was left off. Tom Sizemore, Leslie Jordan, Barbara Walters didn't make the in memoriam. Like, what the fuck? I know it's the Oscars, and she wasn't an actress in the Oscars or someone who dealt with, but like she always she did an interview show before the Oscars a lot for like years.
Yeah, a very famous show.
Lisa Marie Presley didn't get a mention, and I think the biggest snub was Charles B. Dean, who was in Triangle of Sadness, which is a movie that was actually nominated. She died before the Oscars. She was in a movie that was nominated for like Best Picture.
Wow.
And she didn't even make the in memoriam. So that part I thought was really interesting. And obviously, if you do all these names, I mean, how long of a song are we playing here? You know what I mean? Like, you gotta,
no, you can.
But maybe can you do some collages though? Can you do some like collages? Of, like, here's 8 niggas who died.
Less
7
important
more niggas
people.
who died.
Lesser individuals who died also.
They could do it all as collages and just keep them up longer, right? Like they could do like a collage, like here's 12, 14, 16, 19 songs done. But they were all up for like 30 seconds, so you could like scan the room. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
there could be something better.
Hey, I wonder, like, is there any chance like somebody's assistant downloaded the wrong one? Like they had one, and like a few people died, and they just had to update. Like they just. Oh shit! I sent them version 3. It was supposed to be version 4. Fuck.
And they be having them shits color coded. I sent the blue and it should have been red. Oh
no! Right?
Yeah. It's just a program.
Yeah, Rob knows what's up. They sent the wrong color when dude, with scripts they be fucking that shit up a lot because all the scripts are based on color, and people be having the wrong revisions in their hand, and that's when shit be blowing up. The script supervisor gets mad as hell when that shit goes on.
Yep. Now you fucked their whole job up.
Yep. Let's move on to lace them up. Let's talk about some sports shit. In the world of the NBA, Ja Morant, who has had a very interesting last few weeks, he is finally getting some help. He went to go to a counseling facility down in Florida, which is good for him. There's a little bit of talk out there about the weirdness of making that news when he's off doing that. There's some people that were arguing like, we don't have to expose every single thing about this man's privacy. But also there's the benefit of knowing that somebody could get some help and knows it's time to get some help,
Hey, I don't know how I feel about this joke. I'm very happy that he's going to get some help. But like, what's the help he's going to get? Nigga, you're not a gangster. Go play basketball. Like
he's 20. I think we got to remember that Ja Morant is 23 years old.
Yeah.
His brain is not fully developed yet.
I was mad stupid at 23.
Yeah.
But like for the brief period of time that I was playing ball, I stayed in the motherfucking house because I was scared some shit was gonna happen. And
yeah, but you're not. But like everybody else, you're not everybody. You know what I mean? Like it's all kinds, right? Like
yeah. I know. And he's way more famous than I ever was. He's way more famous.
My problem with it is this. Now, I don't know whether he did some other stuff and all this whole other mess, but if he would have been doing that, if you take the hip, just cut him out and put an American flag in front of it and make it bright, would they be as angry? You know what I mean? Like if it was some dude out of Indiana, if he had on hunting gear and his rifle, would you be any less angry? You know what I mean? Like, why is this making you so mad?
Well, the concern is that he had a gun on a road trip, which is not something you're supposed to be. You're not supposed to have weapons on road trips. I mean, that's just a kind of NBA. That's a kind of NBA thing.
Dude, there's a whole bunch of reasons. He's in a club with the gun. Whatever altercation comes out, he uses the gun. Now you have the star American NBA player shooting motherfuckers in the club. Because what else you got the gun for, man? It also, he becomes a target because now he's flashing that gun and shit. There are stupid thug motherfuckers that want to prove that they more thuggy than him. And it's just a bad vibe all the way around. Plus, he's the only young American star that's like marketable right now. Steph is 35. Like those cats get he's like the next guy they was trying to make to. They
have really been pushing his ass. They've been pushing his ass hard. He's very
and now this motherfucker flashing guns and shit, man. Like,
it's one of those things where like the NBA has a name to protect, and if you're going to get into the NBA, you are going. It's just the same thing with entertainment, man. If Hollywood going to give you $10 million to make a movie, I mean, there are some responsibilities that come along with that. And
Now,
you can either be down for that or you don't, but like the NBA is gonna do what the NBA is gonna do.
I will say this: the good news is I don't think they're like looking to move on from him. I think what they're doing is
not at all.
They're setting up a case where they can say, see, he took the time out, he did this, he's a good guy, he can be the face and move forward.
Yeah.
Which I like, and that's cool, but I do think what he did is like I was surprised he got 8 games. Like some people thought he should have got more. I didn't think he should get more. I'm surprised he got that many. But I'm happy that they did this shit, man. They got to nip this shit in the bud. We talk about how do I say this so this doesn't get flagged for the wrong reason? People talk about groups of people controlling our music and why are they playing this type of theme stuff and why would they not stop that or change that? And then here the NBA is seeing that behavior and stopping it and calling attention to it, and then we're mad at them for doing that. Like you can't,
right?
Like we got to pick a side.
Yeah,
and I'd rather be on this side.
Do we want to support gun culture and that concept, or do we want to try and like have a future generation of people that are less trying to?
What I want is to get the same foot in the ass of the cracker in Indiana standing there with the rifle and American flag. I'm just saying, like, to me,
if John Morant took a picture of himself out hunting somewhere with a rifle in Indiana, nobody would give a fuck. It would. The setting has to be the same.
Again, look, I'm not. No,
you can't create a different. You can't create a different location and try and say that it's the same thing. though. Those are not the same thing.
To me,
if you had an AK-47 in a nightclub, I think you'd get the same treatment.
To me, if he had an AK-47? Nah, to me, man, it's just always to make it all. It appears to me that it's always the effort to make us look like the most dangerous people in the world. And if you see how the damn boy was holding the gun, you knew he didn't know what he was doing. He was holding it like it was a stinky diaper.
But he had it. He had it
also,
on the
that
road,
makes it
man.
worse, Rob. That makes it worse. That makes it worse.
All I'm saying, and it's not going to change for me. I listen to you for the rest of this fucking segment. But it's not going to change for me. Every time they get a chance, whether you are right or wrong, I'm not debating it. What I'm saying is the effort is always to make it look like the little black boy is finna kill the whole room. And that's the part that I have an issue with. I don't give a fuck. I'm saying, you see he's silly. You hit 20 fucking 3. You see he's silly. And I'm just saying.
Hold on.
That's all I'm saying.
Hold on, X. But Rob, here's what the reality is, though. Regardless of what age he is, it's a real gun in a real location that he's showing on social media to everyone that he has. And so the precedent that he's setting, if nothing is done about it, is simply, hey, man, if you're in the NBA and you want to take your gun on the road, it's all gravy now. Is that the question is, what is the message we're trying to send? What do you want young black men to be doing when they're going on the road? Do you want them all to be doing that? Is that acceptable?
I don't. What I do want is the next time a cracker do it, I want you to give that same energy. That is what I'm saying. Because every time you see a black man anywhere near a weapon, he's the bad guy. And the proof is in the pudding. The proof is in the shooting of the people every day. And that's all I'm saying. The rest of it, I'm not disagreeing with anything. I'm saying to you, I want you to have that same energy. And we know it's not gonna be. That's all. I'm just saying that's the only point that I'm making. We already know it's not gonna be.
Yeah, I'm trying to equate the situation. I mean, the guy got an 8-game suspension, most of which he's already served, and he went and got counseling. I don't think that's really a big. I think that's a slap on the wrist to me. Like, I think it's a very simple, like, he's going to miss essentially 2 or 3 more games from what he's already missed, because he's already missed like 5 games. So he's not really missing any. He's missed a couple more games. Somebody talked to him and he's like, yeah, you know what? I've realized that, like, I could fuck my career pretty quickly if I do some stupid shit like this, which is what you want to hear him say. And just like X said, like, when he comes back on Monday, everybody moves on. And ideally, he don't fuck up no more. Like, ideally, that is all the slap of the wrist that there is. But in the moment, you have to be concerned about the message that's being sent. And ideally, if that was Myers Leonard, who was on the road, and he had an AK-47 in the club, they would for sure be concerned about what the fuck this white dude, and all the other stories about how white guys are actually the people doing all the killing. Those would be all the stories that we're talking about. Those would definitely be what we would be talking about. Now, would the NBA hand them out? I don't know. I would think so, because the NBA seems to be one of the most progressive leagues in favor of people of color out there. You know what I mean? Now, if it was the NFL, maybe that's a different story. I would be more agreeing with you if we were talking about the NFL and not the NBA.
It's not about the league. It's about, to me, it's about how it looks to me. That's all I'm saying.
Sure.
I just want the same shit to always happen. And you,
I mean, of course, I do too. I mean, that's not. no one here is arguing.
All right. Well, let me ask you this: you're league commissioner. How do you handle the situation?
I'm not for the third time.
No. He's saying he's okay with what happened. He just wants to make sure it's the same energy when somebody else does it, right?
That's it.
Like, you're okay, like the punishment is fine.
And the fact that it's such a big story kind of bothers me too, because there's so many other worse shits that's going on in sports that ain't nobody saying shit about, right? Yeah. And so it's always the spotlight on the shit that we do. And
I mean, he's the guy they trying to make the star of the league. I think if he was a lesser guard, it would not be a big story. He's literally, I was just saying at the top of this, he's this guy they're trying to be. He's the only American young star we have right now. All the other ones are foreigners. They're all from fucking Europe and shit, or Africa.
Yeah, even Giannis, right? So
yeah.
In some actual like uplifting news or better story news, the NCAA tournament has kicked off. It's always an exciting time of year because a lot of people who didn't go to any of these schools get to argue about which one is better.
My school doesn't exist anymore.
Yeah, people be fucking Furman. It's like, nigga, where is Furman, motherfucker? Can you tell me that? Goddamn it.
Hey man, they won a game. I need a sweater. Bam.
Greenville, South Carolina. Actually, they got like 20. Listen, Furman has like 200 more people than my high school did. Okay, that's how small Furman is. That's how small Furman is, and they beat Virginia today.
Is it a military school?
No, it was a religious school. It was a private liberal arts school, but they separated and became secular like 20, 30 years ago or something. And so now they're not technically a religious school anymore, but they were
sand money.
They stalled on letting black folk in for a minute. They tried to hold off on that back in the 60s. And then they had a president come in who was like, I'm not gonna be the president unless y'all change this shit. He came in from Florida State. Wow. And he was like, I'm not gonna come into your little fucking piddly ass college unless you fucking roll this shit back and let some brothers in.
Wow. Thank goodness.
So they actually, I just was looking at it because they're so cool in their beat. I looked up some of their shit, but they actually they put it like a task force on their own school to look up their old racist shit. And they found out that the guy who founded the place was a slave owner and also defended slavery. And so even though they've kept the last name, they've wiped his first name off of everything. So like they changed all his shit. And they're erecting a statue to the first black student that they ever had at the school to be like, hey man, y'all, we fucked up. It's our bad.
Jasper Johnson, our first Negro student.
It was something like that.
So hard.
Yeah, they're just like, hey, look, man, we fucked up real bad, and
arms out. Bad.
It's too late. Yeah, we just can't change. We gonna keep the last name because Furman sounds cool, really, when you think about it. But like that first name shit, we gonna wipe that all out. That dude, fuck it, man, he gone, which I think is pretty cool. Yeah, the thing I thought that was really weird is that the advent of betting has made it now where ESPN now has a bracket package where you can pay up to $130 and they will fill the brackets for you and bet it, and all your betting picks through BetMGM, and like with based off of whatever thing that would ideally get you a high possibility of success rate.
How many brackets do you get for the 100?
I didn't look up exactly what that was because it blew my mind and I ran away like a scared child. Because there's a slight bit of temptation, you know what I mean?
Oh yeah, yeah. There's that. Let's not even. The audience can go find out for themselves.
And I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna do some of the free things for fun and then not pay any attention. Are you guys? Do you feel? I know actually you probably fill out some brackets in your life. What about you, Rob? Do you fill out brackets at all?
I don't, because I'm not really big on college basketball. I like the NBA. And I follow two teams. That's it. I follow two teams, and I don't really care.
Hey Rob, did I ever tell you fuck you? They ever tell you fuck you and everything?
What the fuck is that? What the, what the fuck?
Yeah, I don't follow college basketball, man. Hey, college basketball is the heart of America, nigga. You know what I'm saying? College basketball is what makes this
Have you heard?
Work
hold
around.
on. Have you heard Rob's feelings about this place?
Fair enough.
Like he was like, I don't like college basketball. I was like, that fucking works. That matches. That sounds about right. I can see you being like, nah, fuck that shit too. Shit.
That shit start making you feel a little patriotic.
Yeah, I'm cool. Hey man, I'll be honest with you, man. Before the pandemic, I went to the Rose Bowl.
Yeah,
and it was the Rose Bowl. I went to the actual and it was incredible. But the thing that upset me the most is when I didn't want to stand up for the national anthem. There was too many motherfuckers around me. So I did what I thought would be the best way to mock the song. So I started mocking the song. These motherfuckers was like, "You're an incredible American."
What?
I felt like I was in the Boondocks, nigga. You remember? They don't care about anything I do.
Oh my god.
Fucking A, man.
Oh my goodness.
Oh, that's so fucking hilarious, dude.
They were happy. Oh my god, you're incredible.
That's so fucking hilarious, dude.
To be fair to these what I presume crackers.
They were crackers.
If you're at the Rose Bowl and you're at the point where they're singing the national anthem, you are quite a few beers in. Right? like you're not there fresh.
Right. No.
At that point.
Nick, we had been out there barbecuing and shit.
Yeah. That shit is
not at all.
You know,
not at all.
They might have thought your ass was drunk.
Let's talk about the greatest country in the world. Joe Biden is drilling in Alaska. This is causing a lot of issues. I think everybody seems to be pretty mad about this.
I wonder because he initially said that he would not allow
time.
I think he initially. I know he initially said he wouldn't allow any new drilling, and then he allowed this. And I'm willing to wager the war in Ukraine is the reason. This was a trade-off with the oil companies of you let us drill here, we'll keep oil prices down because they were suppressing production. And he figured out a way to make them motherfuckers put out production because there was no reason for them not to. They were just doing it because they could.
Yeah.
And now gas prices are down and they're about to drop some more, I believe. And so I think that may have been a trade-off. Now, I am literally putting this together just from being a person who watches this shit. I don't have any inside information. But the first thing I thought when I saw that, I was like, that's because the type of guy that Joe Biden is, he wouldn't just fucking turn his back on that shit without having gotten something for it.
Right.
I think the low gas prices we have and the what's helped to cut inflation quite a bit is the trade-off he did.
Well, I also think, because they're talking about this thing's supposed to make about 180,000 barrels of oil a day. There was a period of time when they had to release a lot of reserves. There's that period of time. There were multiple times they released reserves to try and stave off some of the rising gas prices at one point. And so at some point that bill's got to come due where you're like, well, we got to get these motherfuckers back in here somehow. Mm-hmm. And then the other part of it is I think there's a realization that while electric cars are coming and they're getting less expensive. There's a bunch of cars that have cut their prices this year. Like Tesla cut their prices all over, and a lot of that is because of China, right? There's 100 and some odd car companies in China, and they all got batteries. And the cheaper their shit gets, the cheaper it's going to be elsewhere because everybody's got to keep up, right? So prices are coming down, but also like it's going to be a long time before we're done with gas cars. Like it's we're still selling gas vehicles, which means like in 20 years, we're still going to have gas pumps. We're still going to have gas. Like we're not going to. And while I'm a big proponent of a more electric future and sliding more towards that, where like maybe it's an 80-20 mix or a 90-10 mix of oil cars to oil driven cars, like I'm a realist in understanding that, like, yeah, we're probably gonna have to keep getting oil for like a few more decades at the very least, if not 50, 60, 70, who knows, you know what I mean? But if we can slow the need for it or how much we use, then how much we have to do this changes. But I think the reality is, as a person who probably has way more information on what the fuck we need than I do, someone came up with, they're like, look, man, we need to get some fucking oil, dog. I don't give a fuck. Like the reality is
exactly.
We can't put up the battery shit quick enough. We can't get the shit. You know what I mean? Like you have to dig somewhere.
That's the case because there are currently wars going on that everybody know about, and that has made the people who control the most of the resources tighten up the way they use the resources. And then you done told half of the world around you, you can't buy this shit from the people who got the most of it. Yeah. Right. So now that there is no oil that you could buy from Russia because of all these sanctions, you got to do something to keep the prices down. So you got to make more supply.
Yeah. And, there's also this part of it where this man's going to be running for president again, and things about energy independence and producing our own oil. It's some shit that people be hollering about all the time. The Republicans love to play that shit about, we could just go get this land and he needs a thing.
I really need Joe Biden to pull at least a Jimmy Carter. Like, I need him to live at least that long. Here's why.
Oh, okay.
I saw Kamala last night on Colbert.
Yeah.
And she doesn't know how to talk like a person. Like
That's it.
He was throwing her softball, like things that you would respond with a quip or a joke, and she was giving like campaign speeches. And like,
now you see, Stephen,
dude, you could see like the look on Colbert's face. He's kind of like, "Come on, man!" I was trying to because he did ask her some serious questions, some more pressing questions later. And then it looked like it was an uncomfortable interview, but it was because she kept answering, like everything was a long ass response. And it was a long ass response that had like a story about a little girl who did a thing or some shit like that. Like
I'm so fucking
girl was her.
She had one good story she tried to tell, which somebody else like told her the story. Stephen Colbert loves Veep. He loves Julia Louis-Dreyfus. They're friends from Northwestern, blah, 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 yada, yada. And Second City and all that shit. And so she goes, I know you love Veep. I had kind of a Veep moment. And she said that one of her assistants tried to light her fireplace and forgot to open the flute, and she couldn't get back into her office. But the way she told the story was just as not funny as what I just said. like this was supposed to be her really big funny story, and it was just as flat as that.
Nobody told her, like, you're the vice president, bitch, get some writers. My God.
Yeah.
Dude, I think she really wants to be president, and she kind of feels like it's her moment. I mean, the dude's gonna be 82. Like, you gotta be a rocket scientist to think she might have a shot. And I think I feel bad because I feel like I'm shitting on her, and I'm not. I just watch the fucking interview for yourself before you come for me. Watch the interview and tell me she doesn't sound like she was like a wind-up robot of like she had to get these talking points out, or she doesn't talk like a person. She talks like a person that's either running. You gotta watch it. I don't want to keep shitting on her. Just watch it and you'll see what I mean.
Yeah, because it definitely at the moment seems as if you are shitting on her. You are.
Damn it, Bobby.
You are full pants down. I'm not coming to the inauguration, even if this bitch wins, and I get an invite. Because I'm sure it's probably just to give me a talking to for talking shit about her.
Oh man, yeah, you can see Bobby's uncomfortableness.
But I'm gonna take this this fucking dump right now anyway on this lady.
I like her. I want her to be. My dream was that Joe was gonna set her up and throw her to alley-oop and make her president.
Right. Yeah.
And the woman I saw last night, it's not that I don't believe she's capable of
no,
being
it's just
president.
she came from a factory.
Yeah, she is like
these are the words I say so that you understand that I am one of you.
Joe Biden stutters and pauses and loses what the fuck he's talking about, like he's high like me. And
right. It's comforting.
But he still communicates what he's trying to say. You know what even when he fucks up a word, I know what you were saying, Joe. I got it. I know what you meant, Joe. It's okay. But it's not like when you're watching it, sometimes they're having moments where I was a little uncomfortable, but most of the time I'm like, yeah, I get it, Joe. I got what you're trying to say. This shit with her, again, I'm just saying, watch the fucking interview. Just watch it. It's last night's Colbert show. So this was Wednesday night, March 15th. Colbert.
So Biden's got him drilling up in Alaska, which is a climate issue that some people are concerned about, or maybe a climate issue in some respects, or the land issue as well, because they're taking people's land. They're taking some land reserves to be able to do that. And then on top of that, there's this issue going down in Atlanta, where the city of Atlanta is creating a place. It's a 400.
Where the players play.
Unfortunately, no.
Actually, yes, it is. It's where the players not only play, they train.
Yeah, they're trying to create a place called Cop City in Atlanta, Georgia. It's a 400 acre, 90 million police training center on 400 acres of South River Forest, which is the Weelaunee Forest in the Atlanta area. So there's been a bunch of people out in those forests camping out under the Stop the Cop City movement, trying to prevent the idea of this great Atlanta forest being mowed down so they can put up a fucking police training center. Like, they need that. And one of the kids who was there out protesting was shot like 14 times. 26 years old. He was in like a meditation position when he was shot, bullet holes from all over. Yeah. So it was a crazy situation that they are, and apparently no body cam on the people that were involved in that. So slow release of details out about this, but it looks super bad again for the Atlanta area in regards to what happened there. Just a basic protest out in the woods where some cops came out and just executed a kid.
I've seen that. I've seen a story on some program about those kids. That is so, man, that is fucked up. I did not do the show prep on that story. I was not ready for that.
You didn't know that. You didn't know where that was going. You didn't know that was going. Until they shot this kid 14 times while he was fucking in a namaste position. Hey, that was not something you got.
I'm not making fun of that fucking story. That's fucking horrible. But
no
reference. Let's lead off the show with that, and then we can go off.
When I start talking about cops, you gotta know some dumb shit's about to happen. That's just how it is, man. I said cop training facility. You should have known there was about to be some dumb cop shit because I said cop, and the minute I say cop, you know there's some. Now, if that motherfucker Michael knows want to talk about some demons being somewhere.
Sometimes they ain't cops.
You're talking about artificial intelligence, nigga. What about the fucking police?
Hey man, I would anytime from now on, anytime somebody talk about problems that we have with police and they say they need some more training, fuck that person. I'm not fucking with that person. Need some more training is code for I don't really give a fuck about this. Because these motherfuckers got budgets that are astronomical. Like the Chicago, I live in a town of 200,000 people, and I'm pretty sure the Chicago police force budget is bigger than my town budget.
Yo, they are trained. This is the training. What you're seeing, the shit you seeing every day. This is the training, dog. This is what they train.
I feel like when they say more training, that means hey, do this shit so it looks like
A
something's
little
happening.
quieter, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, just
do this shit so they don't
ease it
find
back.
out about it.
Pardon me, guys. Having
Yes,
been through
Rob.
the training,
Hey, yes, sir.
having been through the training, I can tell you the difference between being pre-trained and post-trained.
Yes.
Don't call him a nigga when you kick him in the face. That's the difference. That's the difference. Let me tell you something, man. First of all, the fact that you got a whole city where you can train how many thousand of people to be violent in the street against they're building a city to learn how to conquer a city.
Right.
It's amazingly bad. And the other thing is and this is the God's honest truth. I worked in a county jail. Now, again, it's Cook County. It's a big ass county.
Officers.
It's Cook County. It's a big county. It was about
2,000.
You could train
2,000 sworn. No, they have 2,000 sworn officers at the Atlanta Police Department, the largest law enforcement agency in the state of Georgia.
I'm saying, how many people can you train at the facility?
Oh, I don't know. It's a $90 million facility that they've opened up. So or that they're trying to open up. So it's going to be a big spot.
In other words, here's the thing. Well, on the level at which you learn as an officer, they teach you in report writing to write a vague report so that it is a lie, but it's not that big of a lie. You are purposely leaving out details that are crucial to what happened. That is a part of it. And anytime you hear general language, and that general language is always the same, the appropriate amount of force to subdue, the shit like that, all of that shit it's all bullshit. And even when they give you some shit that tells you when to escalate, because they do actually have shit that tells you when to escalate. You don't really have to do it. It's just an example.
Yeah.
So none of it means anything. And if you're gonna build a whole army, come on, man. They shouldn't let them build that. And then I didn't even know. Look, let me just put this one thing out, bro. Because they do this shit all the time. When I first saw the story, you know what I heard? Young man shoots at the police. That's what I heard. That's what I swear to God. So when you got to this point where you are, I'm like, yep, that's it. That's what happened.
Yep. Yeah. Caught him in a non-mistake position. Yeah. And that's the thing is like, it always comes back to the same thing, right? Like the training is those things. The training is say, stop resisting the minute that you grab somebody, because that way, if anything happens, no matter what happens, you at least said stop resisting, right? Like that's the training. The training is that. So like more training is going to get done.
I don't know why I didn't know this previously, but whenever you see a news story, when something like a shooting happens, the first news you get is always from the police report. So it's always from the cop perspective.
Correct.
So the bullshit is always quote.
Always look at who they quote. You know what I mean? A source from the police. It's always a source from the police who are doing the thing, or it's this person who's involved with the DA's office, who's the prosecutor in the situation, where their job is to work with the police. So they're gonna give a good. You know what I mean?
Because when they update the shit later, the update doesn't get as much play as the initial story. It doesn't get as much shine. And a perfect example just happened with the Sean Kemp thing. Now, Sean Kemp was wrong, I think, for like shooting out of his car. However, but he was shooting in self-defense. He didn't he wasn't O-Dog.
Yeah, they told us Sean Kemp out there doing 50-year-old drop.
Now he brought a gun with him. He had a gun with him, but this dude was he took shit from Sean Kemp and then was trying to hold on to that shit with a gun. Now, are there other ways to try and resolve that? Sure. But it wasn't Sean Kemp was just doing drive-bys on motherfuckers just because he was.
Which is what we was told.
First thing that's the first story was Sean Kemp did drive-by, pop shots on motherfuckers, just capping. Just fucking, I don't even know what's the fuck.
I'm like, wait, was somebody messing with one of Sean's kids?
Dude, the memes of Sean Kemp, John Morant, and Gilbert Arenas, nigga.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
I met Gilbert Arenas and I was like, hey man, fuck your white folks, carry your gun.
Yeah, we know how you feel about ball players carrying guns, Rob. We got it. And some other political news. Donald Trump is trying to push the Republicans to flip their position on mail-in voting ahead of 2024. For some reason, he is excited about mail-in voting again because he knows that's really what Republicans do. He knows the older people are getting, the more they want to do that. They don't want to go out, and he wants to make it easy for them to vote for him. So obviously he's encouraging ballot harvesting. He wants to do all that shit because he wants to get as many votes as he can from people who may not go out otherwise. Right.
So I'm also concerned about this because it's Donald motherfucking Trump, and he's had now 7 years to learn the system. This nigga's probably figured out. All right, I know how we can flood the system. Because he's convinced that this shit is he's convinced
rigged. He's convinced it's rigged.
So I can see him thinking, well, fuck it, I'm just gonna rig it back. I'm
gonna out-rig the rig.
Yeah.
Yep. He thinks he can out-rig the rig.
Because rigging it works either way for him as long as he keeps himself 2 spaces away. Because even if they get caught, they rigged it, it still brings down about everything. See, I told you it was rigged. You know what I'm saying? So if he gets away with it, he wins. And if he doesn't get away with it, they get caught. He could still say it's always been rigged. They just, this time they caught this one, but they didn't take the last one.
Right,
that's a hell of a play.
That's exactly what he's doing. He is putting himself in a position to when you say, "But you rigged it." Well, wait a minute. I told you it was rigged before. Now you're gonna go against me when I said let's do it.
Yeah, I told you it was rigged, motherfucker. What'd you? That's why you should just install me as the chieftain forever and never have to worry about getting another rigged election. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like I'll just take over.
We have to pre-rig to out-rig they rig.
Just rig all the time. Just rig. All the
and make sure that the last person to get rigged on is a rigger.
Hey, man,
this
Toker Midnight baked potato munchie mix, fucking amazing. Toker Midnight baked potato munchie mix on IG.
This is in the middle of the damn. I thought we didn't do middle of the show ads, but here we are. In some bank news, if you try to put your money somewhere, you better get out of the banks. Maybe put it in some into some trail mix from Midnight Tokers. Silicon Valley Bank is out of money, dog. You'd have been better off putting your money into Midnight Tokers, to be honest with you.
The rebound and another assist for no reason at all.
I'm just running up the stats now. I'm Jokic. I'm padding. Silicon Valley Bank was the 16th largest bank in the country, home to a lot of tech startups. A lot of companies like Roku had a good amount of cash in there. Roku had about 25% of the total cash, which is about $500 million, which is a lot of cash for anybody to have. But they had about 500 million in there. Everybody, I mean, XL, you're the finance guy. You've explained this once, and I think it's probably easy if you kind of explain the basics of what went on, because they bought up some bonds, if I understand correctly, at a certain rate. Right. It was higher than zero.
That was the first story they told. The initial story was that they
ever changing, right? Surprise.
The first story that was leaked.
That's so much funnier than he knows. Like, wait a minute. That goes back to the last story. John Kemp out there shooting people.
Yeah. This is before we got the facts. That's the shit that they PR team was better. Got a quicker shutout. And said some dumb shit. They said that they had bonds at 1.8%. I believe that's the number that they put out there from previously when the rates were lower. But since the Fed has raised the rate 7 times in the last year, they're trying to sell those bonds now, and they're taking them at a loss because the rates have gone up so higher. And here's the problem with that. A freshman finance econ major, like that's some shit you learned first semester. Of you hedge. If you're in the bond market, you always hedge because the Fed talks a month before they announce that they're going to raise rates, that they're probably going to raise rates. They don't always do it, but they always hey, we're leaning towards raising rates. Hint, hint. They're leaning. So anybody in the bond market, you do things to hedge that. To be all the way in March or February 2023, just now looking to move those bonds would be stupid. And I'm sorry I went long on that. But that's not even what the fuck they did.
Keep going.
That was what they said they did. That was just a story.
That was a story they said, but I was saying, I told that story only to say how incredibly incompetent that would be. Like I said, if you were a freshman in college studying finance, accounting, anything like that, any type of econ class or thing, you'd learn that and you'd fail your class if you did that in a project or some shit like that. Anyway, what they actually did was they invested in 30-year mortgages, which is even worse. The first one could have just been, hey, somebody was supposed to do something, they didn't do their job. There was an error, maybe something like that. But to invest deposits in 30-year mortgage, the entire point of having deposits, some of these companies, like you said, I think it was a Squarespace that had a quarter. Oh no, Roku had a quarter. Yeah, Roku had $500 million in there. Like $500 million isn't all of their payroll, but it could be a big chunk of their payroll and maybe their operating expenses, like the daily things that they have to do to pay contractors and large purchases and shit like that. And to have that compromise puts the whole business in jeopardy. But anyway, they need that money. They need access to that money. You can't put that shit in a 30 fucking year mortgage. That's a stupid fucking thing.
Well, especially you're dealing with a bunch of tech pros who are all in the same fucking chat, in the same chat room, who one of them's like, hey man, we should pull our money out of here. And then they go, oh yeah, we should pull our money out of here. And now the bank's got to come with the money because the motherfuckers want it. And the shit ain't worth what the other shit's worth now. So now you're fucked.
That's what I said to you. I said to you before. That would be like if you said, hey, X, can I borrow $1,000? I said, yeah, I can do it, but I need it by next Friday. I gotta pay rent. And you say, cool. And then next time I see you, like, I bet on next year's Super Bowl. And we're gonna lose. You got at least 1,200 coming back. And I'm like, wait, I needed that shit. Yeah, but you gonna get a better return back then. I need it now, motherfucker. You're supposed to have it now. Like, that's kind of what they did.
So the issue with that is just not the fact that this one bank has fucked itself, but there's really two things at play. One, the fact that they're not going to let all these people who deposit money in here not have some money, right? Like they all got to get some money, which they're going to do this at the cost of something else they could have probably put some money into, of course. But now, one of the recent updates I just saw is that First Republic Bank is nearing a rescue by other lenders. It's a mid-sized bank. It's close to getting tens of billions in deposits from other banks to try and keep itself solvent. It's basically going, hey man, we fucking run out of money. There's a large-scale problem that is happening where people are asking for their money. Like I think it may be possible that this may not be the only bank where this is a problem.
Is it
there's a large concern that we are back into another 1920s Depression era situation about to hit.
Hey man, I've been trying to tell you shit is a pattern. But here's the thing. Is it possible that this could also be an attack on the economy? Okay, think about this. These are people who attacked the fucking Capitol. The tech billionaire dudes weren't marching on January 6th. But their politics align with that shit. A lot of those.
This is happening in Europe also, for the record.
So is this fucking Proud Boy shit? You know,
I understand. I'm just not sure how large that is.
Okay, I'll give you another example to compare it to. The tax on power grids that have been happening here. Those were also happening in Europe at the same time over the last couple years.
I just think I just push back against this like giant cabal of like people teamed up together. I think there's a lot of personal interest that happens at the same time because of conditions that are going on. It just happens to be if you're a billionaire, you make a move at the same time that a lot of people do who are billionaires because you're getting your advice from a lot of the same people from what makes the most financial sense if you're the billionaire at this point, right? Like some of that stuff is because of that. Some people see a way to take advantage of certain, like there are financial people that are taking advantage of certain things for sure because they recognize the market, right? Like their brains are wired for recognizing that shit. Now, some people gain from a collapse that goes on too. You know, like some people gain out of making the shit collapse because they're going to eat up whatever the smaller shit is that's failing or get money out of whatever the deal is. Like there are people that are recognizing, like, I mean, you've watched those movies where people have a scam play in motion, right? Some people's scam play is just at a very high level. So
here's what I'm suggesting to you.
Yeah.
The conservative, the right has been predicting since the day that Biden took office. They've been saying this recession's coming. Oh, the recession's coming. Here comes the recession. Oh my God, the recession's coming. When they raise rates, the recession's coming. The recession's coming. Jobs have stayed high. prices are coming down slowly. It was only like 0.4%, which is I think lower. So it's 8 months in a row that inflation has gone down. It's still inflation, but it's gone down to a smaller percent. All of these things are happening. I'm saying, and it's not cabal. It doesn't have to be a cabal. It could be 6. It could be 10. Fucking I don't know. I guess 10 could be a cabal, but it could be a few. It could be a few billionaires. It could be a few billionaires creating that scenario where others aren't necessarily in on it. But if you see, hey, if me and Rob both yank our money out of such and such bank, and then then you see that shit, you're not part of the cabal, but you see us moving, you go, well, fuck, something's going on. I don't want to be the one left out, you know. That market moving like that isn't that hard. It doesn't take that many people.
And I'm not totally dismissing. I feel it's less of a collusion and more of a timing and situation, because the way these things kind of happen, and this feeds back into your pattern thought process, is that a lot of times when there are large societal things that are going on at play, and there's things like war going on, there are opportunities to make and create profit through creating financial things that are happening, because they're not going to stop putting money into a situation, or the way you can try and push somebody to stop putting money into a situation, because people are already coming out saying that it's more important to save the investors and all the banks than it is to keep helping Ukraine. There are already people who are saying it's more important to keep everybody solvent financially in the tech world. That is, we should just let Ukraine go and focus on the tech world. And so maybe it's conservatives, or maybe there's still a lot of Russian influence involved in the situation somehow, or maybe there's a collection of a bunch of what I personally think is the reality is there's a bunch of people with their own interests that all have the same goal, that have a similar goal in mind, but aren't necessarily working together. Russians have their goals in mind. Conservatives have their goals in mind. They happen to get along in the fact that it's the same goal, but I don't think
they go to finger, they go to thumb.
But I don't think they're like, having a private meeting about it. I think they're just both recognizing, like, here's a way we can fuck up the situation. Right.
But I also do think they're having private meetings. I think that
I know
that it's obvious. I'm just saying.
Spoiler alert.
I'm just saying, like, okay, you just had a Russian in the government. Like Trump gave Russia any and everything that they wanted. That's why Russian jumped off the lily pad over to where they wanted to be anyway. It's because they knew they slowed down what they needed to fight and did all this other stuff. He done sided them with half the American people. I can go over there and get this now. And with that and all this other, and one other thing that's happened here domestically is that too many white men feel as if they're losing control. And when that happens, things start to change drastically. Just like when Obama got elected, just like it's and all of these things are happening in the same time. Now, let me show you one other thing.
I agree.
That's one other piece of the puzzle that's really interesting. I don't know if y'all been paying attention, but it's a whole lot of people having a degree of freedom that ain't never had this degree of freedom before, right? Mm-hmm. There's a lot of people since the pandemic is like, you know what? I don't got to be a part of the matrix. I could earn $1 at the crib. I could be with my family. My life is getting better because I ain't got to wait for nobody else. So now, what do you do to get them off of that and get them back?
You got to pull that back. Yep.
And they just gave up $1 trillion.
But here's my thing.
And black people start making businesses.
Here's my thing: is that is what you're pointing to is from a labor perspective and how they control labor, right? But that is oftentimes business owners at different levels in different areas who are affecting that. But that is a different concern than what just a conservative person might feel from, you know what I mean? Like, so what I'm saying is you have these different interests that this is actually like, because of the situation that we're in, there's a number of different things that make that a great opportunity. There are people who have
Peter Thiel is homies with Steve Bannon. And he's one of the main motherfuckers that was pulling his money out of SVB. I don't know if he has any connections to these other two banks, but he was one of the first motherfuckers at SVB. And,
I mean, there's definitely crossover.
But here's the thing. Here's the thing. If you watch Fox Business or Fox News, especially like the week when inflation numbers come out, these motherfuckers have been dancing on inflation numbers and employment numbers. They've been just, they're going to be lower. They're going to be lower. And you could do a fucking spoof of just watching them the episode the day before, and then when the numbers came out and they were good. And again, these are the same motherfuckers that stormed the Capitol. Peter Thiel is of that mindset. I could see him. They're trying to say, like you said, people capitalize on that situation. They sabotage the economy. They can capitalize on the situation and put somebody they want back in power.
No, I understand.
It's a
Again, you're telling me about one of the many different people who have a thing involved in the thing, right? Like, yeah, I agree with that, and the fact that there's a bunch of other people with their own reasons that are separate from that, and some that are attached, and some.
Oh yeah, but I'm saying,
I mean, some party some are at the same events, and some sure, but like there's a lot of different people who have their own separate reasons for trying to take advantage of this situation.
Oh, I don't think everybody's doing it together. I think a handful of them did. A run starts with just a handful of people asking for their money, and then it does
Sure, yeah. So there's a lot of that going on.
It's like a fashion thing. It's like a fashion thing. The world's hottest model starts wearing a certain type of shoe. That press release comes out. Bitches everywhere getting them kicks, man.
Right?
Like,
yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's the same shit with that money shit. What some money do that everybody looks at doesn't makes a move. Everybody's like, oh well, he's doing that for a reason.
Let's start bringing this home. We're going to bring it back to the crib. For the first time in I don't know how long, the Taste of Chicago is actually moving the date that it's being held. It's going to be moving to September. September is going to be the new date, and the reason why is because the NASCAR road race is going to be in Grant Park at the time that normally Taste of Chicago would be going on. So NASCAR has trumped Taste of Chicago and pushed the date.
Lori,
there's going to be 3 taste pop-ups. Shit. Yeah. Oh, there's going to be 3 taste pop-ups during the summer in June, July, and August in Humboldt, Pullman, and Marquette Parks. The Taste Chicago has really changed over the years, man. It used to be like a really fun thing that was just it
was like a 2-week festival, man.
Yeah.
It was like 2 whole festival.
I think they were losing money or something.
Yeah, it was free. It used to be a festival you could just go to for free. And you just walk in, and then you just had to buy tickets so you could eat the food there.
I think the security requirements after 9/11 made it almost impossible for them to run it and make money, because you can't have a thing with that many people. It used to be millions of people, man,
and it was plenty of overtime in any of the police jobs.
Hey, I can't remember if I ever told the story. I'll be quick. But experience had a taste. A woman I thought I was going to marry at one point. We were together, and I was there with her mother and her mother's pastor, who also happened to be a woman. And we're walking through the taste, and it's a super hot early July day, and this woman walks past me in like Daisy Dukes, wide open with like bikini bottoms, and her breasts are hanging out of her top. She's gorgeous, right? And I'm trying my hardest not to look at this woman. She's like right in my eye line. I'm trying to walk and look down and not get caught staring at her. And as soon as she walks by, my girl goes, "Baby, did you see that?" And I was like, "Wait, what are you talking about?" And she's like, "That girl, you saw that, right?" And I'm like, I don't know what the hell she's asking. And she goes, "Her hair was gorgeous. You didn't see her hair?" And I was like, man, that bitch could have had a cow on her head. I don't know. Hey, she could have had a crown and a whole like a barbecue pit going. Working on that. I would not have seen, because I don't think I got past her titties. She was like a black Jessica Rabbit coming towards me.
So she was black.
But it's a bikini shit.
Right,
shit. Like this,
right.
She was very voluptuous. And I was trying not to be an asshole in front of my girlfriend's mother and their pastor. So
that's so wild. Yeah, it's changed, man.
It
went from being like a 2-week thing to being like a thing you had to pay to get into, to being like a weekend thing, or like it was like a week long, and now it's like
used to be
shit. It's like a weekend.
It used to be 2 weeks before 4th of July. It would end on either the 4th of July or like a day or two after the 4th of July.
Yeah.
That was the main firework thing for the 4th of July.
One of my best 4th of Julys ever, because you know how I feel about America. Right. One of my best 4th of July stories ever. We took a boat cruise down the Chicago River.
Hell yeah.
It was amazing. And then when you got out to it was a lot of boats out there that night, but it was still really cool seeing it from that angle and having that backdrop. But the funny thing that happened before that made it the absolute best is we were all downtown. Everybody's down there mulling around. This was back when Bennigan's was still open. So we went down there the north
right in front of the museum.
Yeah. Well, I was at the one down there by South Water.
The one that you go down to the bottom. You go underground.
So
right
we
off of
get
Lake
ready
Street.
to go down there. There's a bunch of people walking around, and this one lady looks at this other lady and say, "Be careful!" And that's before she can get careful out, she slips and falls straight down on the pavement. Pow! Everybody's like, "Oh my God!" Everybody's like, "Oh shit, let's help her!" And then we pick her up, and as we picking her up, I could feel her laughing. And then everybody standing there just bust out, started laughing. The timing was perfect. She was like, "Be careful!"
Well, what's not careful is that the Shed Aquarium is also standing to lose millions of dollars in this situation. July 1st and 2nd is also one of their busiest weekends. And because NASCAR is a race that has to be run on streets, which means they got to shut down the fucking whole air. Like, you're not going to be getting downtown anywhere July 1st or 2nd. It's NASCAR, my nigga. They're doing a road race around Grant Park.
Hey, man, the fucking insanity to do that weekend in Chicago. Fuck you, Lori Lightfoot. Fuck you.
Yeah.
Like that weekend, 4th of July.
Lori Lightfoot say, really?
Listen to this. Between May 18th and August 13th, Grant Park is booked for the 84 days for setting up, hosting, and tearing down for special events. Those are all the days that are locked in. And nearly half of those days are dedicated to prepping, running, and cleaning up for the race on the 1st and the 2nd. So like 40 days. So 2-week takeover of the park for the race, and 21 days before the race, and then 10 days after.
So when you say F. Lori Lightfoot, who's really getting fucked here? On the way out, take it.
Some recent endorsements.
How do you get if you live on the south side of Chicago? Goddamn, you
got to take 9094. Get off in Chinatown and take side streets around, cut around UIC or whatever. Yeah, I'm not going. I'm going to try and I might want to be out of town them days, to be honest with you. I don't want. The other thing is NASCAR brings people to town, and I'm not. NASCAR fans in general have not been the people I've sought time to be hanging out with. Overall, you know what I mean? So I'm less inclined to want to stick around in the town when NASCAR people are here for the most part. And that's kind of how I feel about that. That's a generalization for sure. And some endorsements from Mayor Bernie Sanders has endorsed Brandon Johnson, which is hope he comes here and stumps for him. It'd be amazing if AOC and Bernie came to town to stump for Brandon Johnson, a real progressive.
I don't know. I don't know if it's it's Chicago, so it shouldn't be. Obama needs to come out here and holler at. Oh, he can't. Fuck, Paul Vallis used to be one of his guys.
Yeah, Obama's not. I don't know if Obama would come out here and do that for Brandon Johnson. I don't know if that's his boy.
Yeah, Paul Vallis was actually part of the Obama administration. I'm almost positive.
Secretary of Education or some shit like that.
What's wild is that Jamal Green, who is apparently a progressive candidate at one point, 27 years old, he has also endorsed Paul Vallis. Which there's some history to Jamal Green. There's some belief that he probably has a gig in Vallis's administration for this endorsement. And I think the real important thing is Jamal Green ran as a progressive, and Brandon Johnson's a progressive. And if Brandon Johnson beats Paul Vallis, what is Jamal Green doing in 4 years?
Yeah.
But if Vallis wins and Jamal Green can be like, I worked in the man's administration, we didn't see eye to eye, I'm actually a progressive. I thought he was going to unify, but he didn't. So here I am back over here to do my thing and go after the man from inside. If he can also make money off the dude while he's there, I think it's trash, but also
not a bad strategy.
I see the play being made. You know what I mean? I see the play being made.
I hope that's the play being made. Let's hope for good things.
Or maybe you guys just been full of shit,
Yeah. I'm Aaron Sorkin. You are, I forgot the cat's name that wrote Spook Who Sat by the Door. But the brother, he's from Chicago. He's from Hyde Park. and I can't think of his name. Oh,
I just know. I'm just gonna go back.
Yeah, I'm gonna find out.
I'm gonna go back to my 2-point theory.
It's straight Dan Freeman. Sam Greenlee.
Yes.
Sam Greenlee.
Yeah. Yeah, he's from Chicago.
Chicago. Yep.
I'm gonna go back to my 2-point theory. Is all you gotta do is raise the turnout 2-3 points. And let me tell you something. The biggest issue that Paul Vallis is going to have is all this talk about police. You can't expect Black people on the South Side to vote for you after you start screaming and loving police like he doing. And then you got this good-looking tall Black dude look like ice won't melt in his mouth. He's so cold. And you think, and he got just the right amount of gray to let you know he's knowledgeable.
Right, yeah, he's not an idiot. He ain't no idiot, right?
Come on, man.
Ain't no
you
fool,
finna get stumped, Vallis. They finna beat it's gonna be that chick that X was seeing when he was walking in Taste of Chicago is gonna be voting for that nigga come April.
Let's get out of here on this last bit of sad news to end the show. Bobby Caldwell, the singer of What You Gonna Do for Love, has passed away at the age of 71. One of the few singers that people heard was like, "Oh, a brother," and it was not.
I was so shocked when I first saw him. It was a long time ago, but I was blown the fuck away.
Yeah, he might be one of the more sampled white dudes in all of hip hop. You know what I mean? Like, that song was an amazing song. He was amazing.
De La Soul sampled him a fuck ton. Tupac sampled him. A lot of great shit. A lot of
Notorious
great
B.I.G., Common, Lil Nas X, Chance the Rapper. I mean, all those guys are sampling at some point. So, but yeah, Michael Bolton even covered the song, I think, at one point. So even, if Michael Bolton covers your shit.
Man, I'm embarrassed to say, but my
white ladies are fucking to it.
You hear what X just said? That's hilarious.
Yeah. His mom loves Michael Bolton.
And so I'm so embarrassed about it. Why I'm so embarrassed about it? Well, I'm mostly most embarrassed about it. She listens to Michael Bolton more than she does like Marvin Gaye and Sam Cooke. And she grew up with them niggas. Like, not with them personally, but I'm saying when they were hot. That's the shit was there. And this white dude comes along, sings and shit, and she loves it. Like,
she's singing the same song, but just white.
Yeah.
Supposed to live without you.
Goddamn, Bobby. Goddamn. You got a little Michael McDonald in your nigga.
Oh my God! Listen, just another white boy made a whole lot of money being cool.
X, what you got going on this week, man? Where you at?
Sunday night I'll be at Lakefront Brewery up in Milwaukee. Awesome show, Milwaukee comedy. A dope show. I've always had fun up there. So
it seats like a few hundred, right?
Yeah. Like the thing, like 300, something like that.
They pack it out, man.
They pack it out. Big, German
brew hall.
Yeah.
What about you, Rob? What you got going on? Besides fighting the man, what you got going on, Rob? Anything?
Shit, that's what we finna highlight. My truth. We're gonna talk about My Truth.
Yes, the Toby song. Jones My Truth tour.
I own that song. That's my song.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna protect it with all I got. So again, I'm gonna run past your timeline with this hot GoFundMe, and I'm gonna pay these people whatever it takes to get my dough, to get the ownership of what I own. That's what my week is gonna be. And then I'll probably go somewhere by the beach and talk a little bit.
Absolutely. XL, your socials, XL Comedy Show on Instagram. Is that where you're at?
That's the XL Comedy Show on Instagram, or Xavier XL Lamont on Facebook.
And Rob, what about you?
Okay, it's Robert_L_Hines on YouTube, which is where you met me first. And everywhere else, it's Robert L. Hines on all other social media, except for Twitter. I'm so sorry, I couldn't get it. Robert L. Hines 1 on Twitter. Robert L. Hines 1 on Twitter.
You can find me at Mocha_Jesus on Instagram and Twitter. Find the show at New OGs Pod on Instagram, Twitter. Follow State Madison Entertainment for all types of great stuff we've got coming out. Make sure you get over to Sneaky Links Comedy. Go find us on YouTube if that's not where you're listening to us right now. Like and subscribe to the show. Please. So we can keep this thing popping. We will catch you here next week. You have a great weekend. That's what's up.
Peace.